Grace be unto you and peace from God our Father through our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Well, happy 12th day of Christmas to you all. Yes, it's still Christmas, even though Target may already have out their Easter candy. It's still Christmas, technically until sundown tonight. Today's gospel reading is very well known, and it's actually scheduled a couple of times during the 12 days of Christmas. We hear it every Christmas, and it becomes so familiar that the depth of it is often lost on us. Most of the time, we concentrate on the first verse. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Or we focus on verse 14, and the Word became flesh and lived among us. This morning I just want to pick up on one verse in the passage, verse 11. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. At that first Christmas, the Word became flesh. God walked among us, full of grace and truth. But there was a sadness in this too, because as John reminds us, he was in the world, and the world came into being through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. The Son of God became visible to us and walked among us at Bethlehem. But the great tragedy of history is that he wasn't accepted or recognized. His own people did not accept him. His own people, the Jewish race, did not accept him. From the very beginning, with King Herod trying to kill him, through his period as a refugee in Egypt, through his ministry with opposition from the Pharisees and the Sadducees, through to his crucifixion on Good Friday, his own people did not accept him. The Christmas story, sadly, is the story of the unwelcome Christ. He came to what was his own, and his own people did not accept him. This morning we come to church to continue to celebrate the Christmas story. The question before us is whether we will accept him and welcome him into our lives. Welcoming Christ into the world, into the church, into our lives, is what Christmas is all about. Welcoming Christ is actually at the heart of the Christmas story. There are so many myths surrounding the Christmas story that we often miss what the Bible actually says. And we don't look carefully enough at the story, so we're in danger of missing the point. Now, how many of you remember the innkeeper in the story of the inn, where Mary and Joseph are turned away by the innkeeper? Well, of course we do. But here's the problem. It didn't happen. Not in the Bible. No innkeeper is mentioned, and Mary and Joseph are not turned away. We're told that there is no room at the inn, But the word used in the Christmas story for inn is kataluma, which means guest house. And guest houses in Palestine in Jesus' day were on two open floors. The upper floor being bedrooms, and the lower floor for cattle and horses. In truth, Palestinian culture would not have allowed the turning away of a guest. Hospitality was taken very seriously. Joseph was back in his hometown. Mary had connections there through her cousin Elizabeth, and whose husband Zechariah was an important priest in Jerusalem. Perhaps there was no room in the kataluma, in the guest house, in the upstairs part of the guest house, but it's clear that Joseph and Mary were welcomed in, even if it meant that they had to be in the downstairs part. They were not turned away. Christ was welcomed in at his birth, born into a loving yet very humble home. And then the shepherds came from the fields, men of poverty and humble jobs, and a lowly status in society. And they too welcomed Jesus. Ironically, and somewhat embarrassingly, it seems that the humble and lowly house owner welcomed Christ. The humble and lowly shepherds welcomed Christ. But the holy and religious people of God did not welcome him. What a challenge to our comfort and complacency, then, this story becomes. This is an upside-down story. It doesn't work as we think it should. Surely, the priests and the religious people should be there to welcome Christ. But they're the very ones that missed him. It's the lowly and the poor and the marginalized who recognize the Messiah for who he truly is. God is not found in our religiosity. God meets us in our humility and in our poverty of spirit. Welcoming Christ is something we do out of our poverty of spirit, where we say, Lord, I don't have much to give you. I'm not very righteous. In fact, I get so much wrong in my life. Lord, I don't have much to offer you at all. But what I have, you can have. That's the type of welcome that Jesus wants. The welcome of the lowly guest house. The welcome of the lowly shepherds. It almost seems too cutesy, almost too obvious, to quote from Christina Rossetti's poem called, "What Can I Give Him?" But we all know the words. What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring in the lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what can I give him? Give him my heart. That's all he wants. John writes, he came to his own, and his own people did not accept him. let's not be numbered among those people this morning. Let's welcome Christ in the only way we know how, by giving him our hearts at Christmas time. Again, happy 12th day of Christmas. Amen. The peace of God, which surpasses all human understanding, keep your hearts and minds in the knowledge and love of Christ Jesus our Lord.